with Shane Salk and William Holmes, Bill Holmes, producers of the audio drama Carcerem. How's it going, guys?
That's going
good.
We're
on live. We're live.
You are live online. That's right. I'm going to do a couple ads here, then we're going to get back to it. So I'm going to take you off the screen, drink your water, relax, and I'll be back in a minute.
Water.
Okay. Here we go. Here's our first ad. This is Restream. Restream is a service that takes your live and sends it to several places like YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. It also has a live studio, which is very cool. You can roll in clips, photos, sound effects, music. Restream is a very, very cool product, and you can check it out on this live post, which is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You can check out the link, the referral link there, and go check out Restream. We also have Ecamm Live, which is my partner who we are broadcasting this from. It's like a little Jimmy Kimmel show with clips that you roll in, text, sound effects. And we are on Skype talking to these guys live from LA. And then I am proud to be part of the Geek Vibes Network, which is a huge network. They have sports, gaming, tech, podcasts. Check it out, geekvibesnation.com. And here we go. We're going to the interview now. Hey, guys.
Hey.
So you're out in LA.
That we are.
Yes.
Yeah. So
although everywhere in the world seems the exact same place these days.
I just want to say, Regis, you are one of my
Jimmy
favorite.
Kimmel. It was Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy, you are one of my
Just call me
favorite guys. And Ryan, I just want to. Sorry.
Thanks, Bill.
Jimmy Kimmel. He said he was Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
I said I was just like Jimmy Kimmel, but much smaller. This is a little podcast show. So guys, will you just tell us about this audio series? I listened to it. It's very cool. It's kind of like a Game of Thrones. It's set in medieval times, but much cooler. You've got Jane Lynch and Neil Flynn and a huge cast. You tell me what it's about and how you started it and how it got there.
Shane?
Well, Jimmy, it's gonna be the whole show now.
Yeah.
The show is sort of a mix between Lord of the Rings and Princess Bride. There's heart and there's funny and there's sadness. There's sword fighting. In this land of Aaru that we've created, magic is sort of outlawed. It's very feared, and this land used to be really, really nice, and now there are these vigilantes, these guys called vigils, that are state authorized and just go out and kidnap people that have magic, and people are scared, and there are these monsters that just show up out of nowhere that live in the forest and just start grabbing people. And we have there was a prophecy that was passed down through generations, and some people believe it's, and two of our people go off and go, this is awful. Bad things are happening, and we got to help fulfill this prophecy.
This sounds like a great show.
I'd watch it.
I think so.
Listen to it.
It sounds very cool. So how would you explain this for the people who are just seeing this for the first time? It's an audio drama? Like, basically you're listening to it like a podcast, but it's like a movie.
It ain't your father's old audio drama.
Right.
True.
We actually refer to it as an audio series.
Okay.
It's not like anything you really heard that's out there right now. What we try to do is we're trying to come up with a medium that the audience can immerse themselves in and almost feel like they're participating in the action, or at least viewing it right within where the action is happening. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right, and you guys have sound effects, and there's multiple people involved. It's not just one person talking.
No, we got in season 1 we have 32 episodes, and I think 122 different characters, and original musical scores. The sound effects are a lot of things that you hear out now are like, we'll have ideas of sound effects. Here's some nature sounds because we know we're out in nature, but ours are really this full impact soundscape that we've created. So it's sort of like the feelings you get if you could just listen to something like Game of Thrones with all the CGI and the magic and and the dragons and all that stuff. If you could just listen to that and have that same physical experience, and that's what we create just in audio.
It's a lot like going across country through Oklahoma on a Sunday. That happened to me years ago. I was driving through Oklahoma on a Sunday, and there wasn't much on the radio. This was back in the old days. And they were actually playing the soundtrack to Smokey and the Bandit. and I listened to that whole thing all the way through Oklahoma, and it really saved my life. So it's pretty much like that. It's a lifesaver.
I didn't know where he was going when he was saying, it's like driving through Oklahoma. I was like, I hope not. There's no corn in this at all.
Yeah.
Right. So can you guys explain what the world is like? Are we looking at, knights and armor and battles, or is it more like fantastical, magical characters?
But there is magic.
Okay.
There are sword fights and horses and that kind of thing. It's not flying cars.
Right.
So really it is very much like the worlds if you mixed Princess Bride and Lord of the Rings. Like, there's a lot of similarities between those two things. There are different characters, and it's interesting because it's great. I don't know why I just say interesting. I'm pitching this thing. But the people that we follow started out in their home, and they decide everything's terrible, we need to go help. So the audience really discovers the world as these people do. You're really along for the ride as much as they are. These are people that really haven't ever gone outside their own home, their own village. They've been training, fighting, and all this stuff. But the minute they step outside, when they think they know what the world is, they get a lot of surprises.
It's a coming of age story when you're coming of age in the really crappy world that we all live in.
And when
again, we don't want to give too much away.
Right. But just to figure out, like, The Princess Bride meets Lord of the Rings is a good description. I can see that, because I only got to hear a minute of it, but it was very detailed and in depth. It wasn't just like one person talking. There was a lot going on. So it's like this world that you get immersed in. But when is it launching?
September 22nd of this year. So a little less than a month. You can find the trailer out there now. You can find it on iTunes and a couple other places. Spotify right now. And then it'll be on Stitcher and all these other, any place you can get a podcast soon as they put it on there.
Okay.
And the trailer's out on Facebook and Instagram. It's been being passed around.
Okay, so what we're going to do right now is show the trailer.
Oh, great.
Okay.
So I'm going to take these logos off the screen, and we're just going to play the trailer. It's going to be full screen with audio. It'll mute your mic, so we won't hear anything from you until it's over. It's just like a minute, and then you can talk about what's happening in the trailer. Do you want to say anything before we play it, or are you good?
No. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Here we go. The trailer for Carcerem. Here we go.
In the abstruse land of Aaru, full of regal countrysides and rayless forests.
Miss me!
The once halcyon days now gone.
Your hand is mine now. What? Get him out of here.
And people resolved to lives separated from each other.
We all know how dangerous the magic can be. It's best the child comes with us.
A prophecy passed down, followed by believers.
You're a prophecy hunter.
It has to be part of something bigger. If I let myself think they died for nothing.
Will set forth the path for the one.
I had a dream. I was the chosen one. I saw myself saving everyone.
Of course you did.
Leading the land of Aaru back to its days of yore.
Fire!
What are you doing?
I'll kill you! We'll never survive! Linus, trust me. Mother! Carcerem the series, premiering September 22nd, 2020.
Very cool, guys. I liked it. This is going to play very well on Geek Vibes Nation, which is this network that I'm part of. They are really into the DC fandom and the Marvel and Game of Thrones and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be up on this Facebook page for a day, but tomorrow it'll go up on geekvibesnation.com.
Nice.
On their YouTube page, and they have 50,000 Twitter followers. They've got a ton of followers to their website, and this is definitely the audience for that. So my audience will be interested, but this is a really big network that's giving me a lot of views and traction.
We welcome all of geekdom to come.
Yes, come on, geeks, come on down. Check it out.
And we have, I mean, you mentioned Jane Lynch and Neil Flynn, but in that those communities, we have some really big animation guys like Maurice LaMarche, who was, he's won an Emmy for Futurama. He was the Brain in Pinky and the Brain. We got 3 different Ninja Turtles.
Townsend Coleman, Robbie Rist.
Pat Fraley, who was Krang. Gray Delisle, Gray Griffin, who is the biggest and nicest woman in voiceover as far as I'm concerned. She plays Wonder Woman and Daphne from Scooby-Doo and is just the most amazing person. So
Richard Horvitz, Invader Zim.
Invader Zim!
Cool.
He's in the show. Bob Bergen, the voice of Porky Pig, is going to be in the show. So, I mean, we have so many more people lined up. We have this really great guy, too. Carl Cerfalio is a veteran stuntman that came in and played this great character. And he actually doubled the guy who the character was based on.
The actor.
So, the actor it was based on. So that was kind of cool, too.
And Bill,
yes,
you were in Rick and Morty.
I've done a couple of episodes of Rick and Morty. So
we got a lot of.
Show me what you got.
He didn't do that voice though.
No, but I mean
he was in that episode. Yeah. He has trading cards.
So. Yeah, we did talk about all those other characters that were in there, but Jane Lynch from Glee, and I was just watching her last night as the Shrink on 2.5 Men. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's so nice.
What can you tell me about her?
I wish these people weren't as nice as they were, because it would make me feel better about myself. But they're all so nice.
But really they have to be, right? To get jobs. They
don't have to be. That's the thing. She could have come in and be like, hey, I hate you all. And we would have been like, okay, Jane.
Yeah.
But no.
I've known Jane over the years. Part of my career, I've been directing for years and years at various casting houses around Los Angeles. And so that's how I know everybody. I would meet these guys, and we all got along, and it was just always fun to see your friends pop in every now and then. And Jane was one of those people that she would come in and audition, before she was Jane Lynch, and Glee and everything. She would just come in and auditioning for voiceover jobs and animated jobs and whatnot. And I had the privilege of directing all these people: Maurice LaMarche, Rob Paulson, Bob Bergen, all the same people we're talking about. And so when we started casting this, Jane and another great actress, her name is Mary Weiss, who is also in the show. They were doing a project where Jane is directing some commercials now, kind of like Christopher Guest, Right. And they called me up and they needed a voiceover studio to do, and they're like, hey, we got to do these things and we need a couple of guys. Do you think you guys could just audition and maybe lay down a voiceover for us? And we're like, yeah, sure, come on over to the studio. And so they came over, and it couldn't have been nicer about it. And then Jane opened the door. She said, if there's anything I could do for you in return. And we were like, well, actually, we've got this little show that we're doing.
Funny enough.
If you'd like to do it, she's like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. And we sent her a couple of scripts over, and she picked, I just let her pick the character that she wanted to play. And she plays this great character, which I'm not going to divulge too much, but she picked the most fun character, I'll tell you that. And and so she's been kind enough to lend her services to us. It's
very cool. Well, I have her clip, and if you don't mind, I'll show it.
Go ahead and roll that clip.
Yeah, roll that clip.
I've always wanted to say
roll the clip.
Roll the clip. Okay, here we go. This is Jane Lynch talking about her character in Carcerem.
Yeah, we get it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jane Lynch, and I'm playing Mel, which is short for Melanie. Well, I'm a big fan of radio shows, and when I was in Chicago, I did a few of them. We would do them live with the sound effects, and it was so much fun. And I love that this is, basically coming back to that, where people sit around the wireless and listen to a story, and that's very much what this is. It's being told a story, of course, through characters, and I love that, and I love being a part of that. Yeah, my character, it's such a vicious world. It's the goal of my department, and I'm a government worker, is to eradicate magic. What a horrible thing. Eradicate magic from the Commonwealth. And so we have these vigils they're basically officers of the court or of the law who go out and seek out people who have magical powers and bring them in, and we throw them into prison. But if they lie to us, well, then I will just, in a very bureaucratic way, cut your damn hand off. Oh, Shane is great. I just met him, and he's just a great sense of humor and very easy to work with, and he and Bill are fun together, so... I'm directing commercials now, and I need a place in L.A. where I can do some, like voiceover stuff and some post-production stuff. And so I'm so glad I ran into Bill again, because I'd love to do it here, because I love those guys. They're just great. Well, I know Bill Holmes from Chicago. We kind of had a nice little reunion a couple of weeks ago where we ran into each other, and then, of course, he roped us into doing this. And we were very happy to be doing it. So Mary just did hers, I just did my lines, and it's been so much fun. And he's such a crazy guy, that Bill Holmes. And this thing is just insane and right up my alley. And he told me what my character was about, that she was kind of like a DMV worker, kind of, in this really violent, crazy world. The whole thing was a surprise to me. That's
very cool. That was very cool, guys. I love her. I love Jane Lynch, so I would definitely be looking forward to hearing her, even if it's a smaller part in the series. And
she shows up a couple times.
She does. Okay. And Neil Flynn, he was on the show The Middle.
The Middle and Scrubs, and he was in Mean Girls.
Rookie of the Year.
Who was he in Mean Girls? Was he one of the dads?
He was the father of the main girl.
Of Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't remember. It was so many years ago. I don't remember.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's one of those times when you take your kids to go see. My kids were like, "Hey, let's go see this Mean Girls." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we'll go." And then all of a sudden, your friend from high school pops up. It's like, "Oh, hey, there's Neil. Neil's in the show. Look at that."
I can't believe Neil's doing it.
That was kind of fun.
So do you want to show a clip from Neil or a clip from the producers talking with the writer?
Oh, it's up to you. Well, let's go with Neil. Neil,
he's funny.
He's a funny
Neil's
guy.
funny. Okay, we're going to show a clip from Neil Flynn, who's also on the show. Here we go. Neil Flynn, Carcerem.
Hi, I'm Neil Flynn. I voice the character Vorloff. I got attached to this project because I've known Bill Holmes, one of the producers, creators, directors of this, for more than 40 years. We knew each other when we were teenagers. I did a little bit of voiceover. Any that I did is because Bill got me into it back in Chicago. This guy Vorloff is kind of a no-nonsense guy, and he's task-driven, honor-driven. You got to do it the right way. There are a lot of rules in this world, and he insists on following the law. Doing Vorloff is not the first time I'm playing a character who would beat the hell out of me in a fight. He's tougher than I am. With all these people, it's not an easy life they're living, and so there's few of us have weapons and horses involved in our everyday life, but they do, and missions and quests and magic. I admire survivors of stressful situations, and that's most of the characters, I think, most of the days. But I enjoy that type of thing. The storytelling, I think, is great, and people, maybe everybody, but especially people who enjoy that sort of thing, I think it's really well done. So I'll tell you another thing that it's different. and inform people, should they wonder, fake fighting is not an easy thing to do when you're not in terrific condition, as I am not. It takes a lot of effort. It's actually tiring. And by the time you're done doing a couple hours worth of pages, including activity or effort, as they call it, I at least am kind of beat, ready to stop for the day at least. Bill Holmes' direction has been integral and necessary, and he's not easily pleased. There are times when you emit a grunt or something because you're being stabbed or shot or getting onto a horse or something. Usually, at least as far as my work goes, my first effort rarely pleases Bill's judgmental palate, if that's even...
Very cool, guys. Very, very cool. I love it when we have interaction from audience. So we have Daryl here. I'm going to add it to the broadcast. And
God.
Daryl is saying, Shane, who created the original We're Alive? That's his question.
What's Daryl's last name?
Daryl's last name is Salk.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
I wonder how he got on the show.
So was he asking a question, or
he said,
or was he just bragging? That's my father.
Oh, okay. So he's saying, who created the original We're Alive? I don't know.
It's true.
So he did. He did, or you did?
No, Shane.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
I was one of the creators of We're Alive. Yes, We're Alive. It was back in 2009. Is an audio series that I was a creator of. That now has over 200 million downloads. It was the first of its kind, and Carcerem is like 10 steps above what we were doing back then. I had just graduated college, and we were trying to figure the whole thing out. It's a zombie apocalypse thing, and cool. it has a full cast, full sound effects, musical scape. But again, that was 10 years ago. We had just graduated college, and I've learned so much more. And with Carcerem, we do so much more than I even thought was possible. Sometimes it's almost like you have a swooping camera shot where you're following, arrows, or we jump around perspectives. It's pretty incredible.
It's fun.
But yes, I was absolutely one of the creators of We're Alive. That was a number of years of my life and many downloads.
Please pass along to Daryl. Take your medication and get back in bed.
All right, we'll call you in the morning. Okay, so we have another one, Trisha Knoll.
Okay.
I don't know if that's someone you know, but she wants to know about the horses in Carcerem. Are they treated well?
Yes. The horses are treated well.
Do not worry.
Were there any animals injured during the recording of Carcerem?
We can't say that. Not during the making of Carcerem. I won't tell you what happens to all the animals, but I will say that we don't have anybody, I don't think, that abuses animals on purpose.
No. That's all I can say.
On
the
purpose.
Horses treated well. I mean, they get put in the stables, and
they
get
boy. Fed.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I actually grew up riding horses. I am a cowboy.
So there are film clips somewhere of us, because he grew up with horses. We will literally sit there for 45 minutes or more while I'm designing the footsteps of the horse doing different things. Like it runs up and then it kind of stops and then runs off, and he'll be like, yeah, that's not what a horse would do. We got to make it do. And I'm like, oh, good God. But it makes it real.
The devil's in the detail.
Yeah, but that's why. Oh, it's crazy.
Very cool. So we have the producer's clip, and it kind of talks about how you started this whole thing and got together, and you guys met at a party. Would you rather play that or just tell the story?
Oh, just play that.
Yeah, just play it. I mean, both of our stories.
We get JoJo involved.
I love JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo's the head writer, and
JoJo's the head writer. Okay. Yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to show a little behind the scenes with the producers and the head writer for Carcerem.
Camera is rolling. Okay.
None of you are helpful.
What was the inception of Carcerem like?
Well, when I started,
when Bill came up with the
project,
idea,
I came up with this whole idea,
Bill's
this whole
one-
concept.
It
was something.
idea.
It was because of my love for old radio shows.
You don't know how this is going to go. I'm not sure you want that on camera.
Shane came up with the concept. So Shane, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about this?
I feel like I'm going to be blamed for everything. I grew up listening to old time radio. And so I graduated college and I started producing a show called We Were Live. So far, so good? I met Bill at a party and I talked him into doing an audio version of A Christmas Carol. And I talked him into it by making him think that he'd never hear from me again. I was kind of trying to come up with this idea of this audio series as a big sort of a business concept.
Well, I mean, he kept calling me up saying, "Hey, listen, if I put this thing together, can you get it produced? Can you get your friends in this and all this stuff?" And I said, "Look, buddy, you find me the money. I'm your man."
Bill kept going, "Well, just come back out here and we'll work. When you're not here, we're not going to work." And I was living in New York. And he looked at me one day and he's like, "What are you worried about? What are you worried about? What are you worried about?" I go, "Honestly, I'm worried about the writing of it." And he goes, "Don't worry. JoJo will do it."
Yeah. Hey, I got the writers. Don't worry about it. I got the writers. Right, Joe?
Sure. Oh, is it my turn to talk? Then they brought me in. And so they brought me in. Shane explained everything and how it goes. And he told me, I mean, as a writer, you want to just still look at it from a film perspective and even the visuals as well. And then he'll handle adding the elements in terms of sound. And Conzi, look at this guy's face. That's hard work. That's all you got to look. Every time I come on the weekend, he's just like... So I'm like, I know he's been doing a lot, and then I hear what he did. I'm like, oh yeah, he's been working a lot.
I was in the office in the back, and he says, "Could you come back here? We have a problem." And I was like, "Oh Jesus, what the hell did he do now?" So I go back there, and I see on my chair at my desk is an envelope, and I open it up, and I go, "Ah shit, is this the money?" He goes, "Yeah, we have a problem. Now we got to go make this thing." Okay.
Very cool, guys. It seems like you have a lot of fun. I have a question. So who is doing the sound mixing? Is that a separate person, or do one of you guys do all the mixing?
So the way we work this thing is I've been doing the sound design.
Okay.
And then I'm not great at the mixing. So we send it to another guy, Tim McEwen. God, I always get that wrong.
Yeah, we always get his name wrong.
He's amazing. He's fantastic.
I don't think it matters in these interviews.
No.
Yeah.
Why
would we get his name right?
I don't know why he thinks we don't like him. Tim McEwen, who is great. And he will do the mixing. And then he's also doing some sound design for us now, too. But he does the mixing, and then we take it and review it and change a bunch of stuff around. So it's really it's a collaborative process of that. But he's doing he's watching all the dials and making sure everything mixes well. And we go, well, we want it to be from somebody else's perspective during this. So we need to fade this and have this lower and this higher and add some reverb and blah, blah, blah. But he's great.
And in the beginning, I interviewed John Viner, who's a voice actor and writer for Family Guy. And he said in the beginning, Family Guy everybody was literally in the studio recording at the same time. And now with Mila and Seth and all these people being all over the place, there's a lot of remote recording. So do you guys record each person one at a time and they listen to the scene in their head while they're in it? How does it work?
Well, especially these days with the COVID-19 happening, we do everybody one at a time. There are a few moments where before the pandemic hit, we had a couple of the actors in the same studio, Phil Reich and Dana Powers, and they would literally be pretending to sword fight, and we would put 15-pound weights in their hands, and they'd be in there fighting and stuff, and that was kind of fun. But these days especially, it's actually a little easier to get, as we have such a volume of material that we need to get recorded, that it's easier just to get everybody, and they come in and they do, in the voiceover business, they do what's called, they just do their lines wild. So basically, they've read the script, and Shane and I are in the control room, and I'm kind of telling them, this is what we're looking for. Can you give us this? And then they'll do 3 in a row of the line this way, and then we'll try to get something a little different. It's very much like doing cartoons, in that respect, that they're very animated and they're going through all the actions. I mean, you heard in Neil's, in his interview, he was talking about all the physical things that we're asking him to do, and he was like, "Yeah, this is really, I'm tired."
Yeah.
So yeah, what you saw in those interviews was Jane working by herself and Neil working by herself.
And we do
himself.
and another reason we do that is because, like you said, we have so much material, so we'll bring in somebody and do as many episodes as possible. If we can get through all of them, great, but most of the time it takes a while. So then it's easier with people's schedules and stuff like that. And we have a bunch of remote sessions now. We just had one with Gray Griffin, where she's at home, and we can actually engineer and record her from here with a couple of the things that I've set up.
And with Neil Flynn, he lives literally around the corner from our studio. So rather than coming in and doing all these long 4 to 8 hour sessions, he basically said, I think I'll come in when you need me. Just call me when you need me. And so it's convenient for him. So he'll come in.
Well, and then Bill and I sit in that room, and we have people do 3 to 6 to 9 takes depending on what we need, and then we will go through and pick the lines the way that we want them depending on what the other actors did and stuff, and make a cohesive scene out of it. Then I'll take that and sound design it. And once that's done, then we send it off. So it's a multi-step process that takes a lot.
Yeah, and then we take that finished product and we send it to our music guy, Dave Volpe, who is an amazing,
composer.
Composer, thank you.
Yeah.
And we got really lucky when we found Dave, because we didn't plan on doing an original score with this in the beginning. We just thought we would take what music we could find out there.
Right.
But I got to tell you, the score of this show is, I think, going to be something separate that people are going to want to just listen to the score. It's really fun to hear it with the music put.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hamilton, where you just want to listen to the score.
Exactly.
Exactly like Hamilton.
We are just as good as
Yeah,
Hamilton.
this is like basically Hamilton in medieval times.
It's Hamilton meets Princess Bride.
Yeah, exactly.
Without any rapping.
So,
guns.
So let me ask you guys, are there a couple of main characters that are younger people that are sort of I don't want to say stars because there's so many people involved, but we would be remiss in not saying who they are
we
go through.
Yeah. We do follow a couple of Dana Powers plays we would say she's the lead female character in the show. She's the one who you kind of follow on the adventure.
Yeah, so at the first episodes, who you hear are Dana Powers, and she is amazing. She's incredibly talented.
And what's her character?
Her name is Aura.
Okay.
Yes. And
she's one of the first people you'll hear.
You can hear her now on TV. She's the voice of Kit Kat, the mint chocolate mint Kit Kats.
Yeah,
nice.
And in that trailer, you hear her. She's the one doing that. In the land of Aaru, full of regal countrysides. That's her voice. And you also hear her throughout the trailer as well. And then
so there are definitely younger characters that we follow.
And Phil Reich is the other voice you hear in the pilot. He
plays a character named Godric.
Godric. He's on JoJo's. I really should watch this show. He's one of the leads in JoJo's Big Adventure.
No, not Big Adventure. It's an anime show.
Yeah.
And I can't.
He's great.
I know what you're talking about. I've heard of the JoJo thing. I don't know the name.
Yeah,
either.
I'm just afraid your fans are going to be
young
like,
kids.
Screw you, Shane. You don't know JoJo's awesome adventure.
I'm an old guy, so I have an excuse.
No, I'm a jerk.
I can't remember things. So, but yeah, so we do follow these youngsters. Like I said, it's their awakening of holy mackerel, I'm off in the world and it's a dangerous world kind of thing.
Okay. All right, so we've got a couple more questions from Trisha.
Okay.
And she's saying, are there any animals that are fictional? And I guess she's talking about dragons, or are there any like fantastic animals?
I mean, horses, they're not real,
Horses are not real. We will say yes, there are animals, but we don't want to give too much away. So there are some fictional animals in the show.
And the other thing is, what is the basic storyline and the setting? And I don't know if you've already gone over that, but that's
a little bit. I mean, if you go to the website carceremtheseries.com, you can click on info. It gives you this whole idea about the world that's thrown into chaos and a prophecy that's been foretold, and these people that go off to try to help the prophecy along.
To try to fulfill the prophecy.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so you guys are you're gonna have a lot of episodes, or is it like you said something like 32 episodes for the whole series?
Yes, season 1. In season 1, we go through 32 episodes. There'll be 32 of those things. Each one is about 20 minutes long.
It's an ambitious project that we've made a big commitment to.
Right. So that's the other question. I don't know how detailed you can get, but how do you find funding for this, and who's involved? Is it like a Spotify, or is it like a private company? How do you do that?
That is a very good question. And if I had an answer to that, I would be a millionaire.
Yeah, we'd have more funding. We've had some beneficiaries, we'll say, that are helping the show along. We're always looking for investors. So if anybody's out there and they want to, send us to somebody, we're still open. We have a limited budget on this, and that's why there's not more people involved, because it's right now it's a lot of me and Shane living in a cave making this thing.
Right.
So I mean, for the people that are asking because they want to get into this kind of thing, I spent, depending on how you look at it, between 5 and 10 years trying to get this thing off the ground. I started with the story, and then I tried to build this company. I pitched to tons and tons of people, and we just finally found people who I really believe what they invested in was us and was me and the idea of the project, because they saw that I wasn't giving up on this thing, that it wasn't something, which I really wish I could say, is you find that person, they go, that's a great idea, here's a bunch of money. It was after 3 or 4 years of going, look, here's my pitch package, here's the press, here's all the things that we want to do. They go, well, I want to see this. And you go, great. Okay, I'm going to partner with a company that sells our advertising. And they go, okay, oh, great, you have that. So you sort of have this plan of revenue, which I had before, but they wanted to see it in action. I mean, I had a lot of people go, well, once you get 15 episodes out, let me come talk to me. And I'm going, if I have 15 episodes out, I don't need to talk to you anymore. But there are projects out there that are doing 6 episodes, 12 episodes that somehow get partnered with major companies, and will get $500,000 to $1 million, and it blows my mind, because what we're doing is so much bigger than that, and we're nowhere near that kind of money.
Right.
So I wish I had a better answer for you, but the only advice I can give you is don't rely on your passion for it. They're going to want to see, what's your revenue stream? Who is your audience? How are you going to distribute this in terms of how are you going to get people to find it and all these things? And then keep at it and keep at it and keep at it and keep building and building and building your pitch packet, and just ask everybody and anybody if they know somebody who is willing to give them advice or give them to talk to, because that's what I did for 5 years. And eventually I had meetings with everybody. And if I walk away from a meeting with no money, but somebody who's like, I really like you and I like your idea, and I have another ally, it's a successful meeting.
Right.
But never think that your idea and your passion and your project is more important than the person you're talking to.
I mean, we're kind of hoping it's going to be kind of like a George Lucas thing with us, because, in the beginning with Star Wars, Fox didn't want the merchandising. They were like, yeah, this thing's not going anywhere. And so he pretty much owned everything. And right now we have total control over what we do. with the quality of the project, and that's very important to us.
Yeah,
because I think we're looking to make it better and better and better all the time. So when and if this does take off, it will benefit us, because then we can take that money and reinvest it into the project, and we actually have another series that we're writing right now in a different genre, and then we can actually hire the people back on. We've had to lay a lot of people off because of the pandemic right now, and we're looking to hire them back on so that they can work remotely and whatnot with us. So
right,
we're looking still.
Yeah, and it's something that happens on a smaller scale with the podcast. Like I do everything and I own everything right now. But then when you join these networks, it's like, so what's the deal? Do you own it? Right. Who owns it? And I have a deal with Geek Vibes to just promote each other, and there's no money involved. Right. But at some point it's going to hit, and sponsors are going to come, and then it's great because I own everything. But let me just tell you this story real quick, because I worked with this guy Jim Isa, and he's a director, and he's done a movie with Luke Perry. He did a Lifetime movie, and he did another movie with Tony Shalhoub and his wife. He's friends with Tony Shalhoub, and basically they went to, I love Tony. They went to dinner with some guy who was like a carpet mogul, and asked him to finance the movie, and he was like, I don't know, it's a romantic comedy, I don't know. Well, Tony said, and Jim said, what if we got you tickets to the Oscars? Because they were both actors in the Academy, and they each had 2 tickets each. And the guy basically financed the film from getting 2 tickets to the Oscars. He was like, okay, I'll finance it. I mean, they didn't say that was the exchange. But also he did another film where he got a bunch of people over to a house, and all the people had money, and he pitched his idea, and he got funding for the movie. As an independent movie, I don't know what the budget was, but so I've had some other people who are looking for financing, and they've talked to Jim, and I've always been curious about it. I've made several short films, and I'm like, how am I going to finance my feature? So,
well, and I will say that when talking to people about money, you really find out what that person wants, because some people, they have $2 billion and they, giving you $1 million doesn't mean anything to them, but to you, it's the whole world. But that person you're talking to needs and wants something in their own life, whether it's fame, whether it's to be part of something bigger than them, whether it's to go to be treated like a star at the launch party,
right,
or go to the Oscars. Everybody has a need and a desire in their own life, and if you can sort of figure out what that is and then help them achieve that, everything's a give take. And we have been very fortunate. I mean, I talked to a lot of people, and they said, I had a very specific idea of how I wanted this to go, how we were going to promote it, how we were going to control it. And if people said, well, what about doing it this way? I would walk away, because I'm not willing to sacrifice certain elements. I knew going out, I didn't want to have somebody else that felt like they wanted control over the story, because I've been doing this for so many years.
Right.
And
with us, it's all about
the product. It's all about
the quality of the product that we're putting out to the fans that we know are going to like this.
So,
and maybe I'm being a little short-sighted, but if you want to ask Tony Shalhoub if he'd like to be in our show, just throw it out there to him, because we're right here in LA.
Absolutely. I'll get him tickets to an Oscar screening.
Yeah, at my house.
At my house. It'll be great.
Yeah.
We'll make him a little ticket.
Yeah.
Out of crayons.
Yeah, I don't know Tony personally, but Jim does. So I can give you guys Jim's information. You can call him.
Sure.
But we have someone. This is really cool.
We'll have to have him audition, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is what I love about this. But this woman, Tina Marie, said just very simply, watching our conversation, that she loves this. She loves this conversation. So that's very cool. And there is a way. I can't do it with Restream, but if you just go to Facebook Live, there's a way to take people who are commenting and pop them on the show, to ask them if they want to be part of the broadcast, pull them on, they can ask a question and then leave. It's very cool. I haven't done it yet, but that's something hopefully this technology will help us do in the future. But guys, this has been great. You're both just so experienced and done so many things, and honestly, you're an inspiration because I want to do more stuff like this. I want to do a true crime podcast, which is very similar, creating a world and all that kind of stuff. So, can you just tell the audience, any advice that you would have for people getting into wanting to do a project like this, but the film and TV industry, because I know you've done other things. What's your advice for a young person or a person switching careers? Both of you.
Okay. So my first and foremost advice I sort of mentioned earlier, but don't think that your project is special when you're talking to actors, when you're talking to the financiers, anything like that. And I don't mean that it's not special, but nobody's going to have the passion you have for it. One reason why we have the names that we have is because Bill and I have spent our entire lives having fun and taking things seriously when it comes to the product, but also knowing that every single actor that comes in here is not getting what they're worth. And we make it fun and we let them enjoy themselves. And I've walked into meetings where someone goes, yeah, I don't know why I'm here. This is stupid. And I go, okay, that's fine. I sort of write off the meeting going, well, I'm not going to get anything out of this person if I'm looking for money. But then I just have a normal conversation with them and I walk away with an ally. Your project is really, really important to you, but it doesn't mean that it should it should push, your relationships with people to the back seat. If you ever think, well, this person should be happy to be in this project because it's going to be huge, you have a problem.
And if I'll piggyback on that, especially I always have a lot of young people coming up to me and asking me, I have this idea of, the whole thing with me is, I like to brag that I got thrown out of some of the best acting schools in the country. Okay. And it never discouraged me from just pursuing my career because I was just too stupid to know that, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. My advice to people is if you're having a good time and you have a project, the technology that they have these days is go make it. You can make it. You can make things on your iPhone. You can make things on the smallest little gadgets that they have out there. Right. And you have a network. You have the YouTube, as I like to say to the young kids. And you have Facebook Live, and you have all these platforms where you can just put it out in the world and see if it takes. Because if you're doing a project like this, again, we're doing this project, and yeah, we'd love to make money at it and everything, but that's not why we started it. We started it because it was just a really cool idea. And I personally have not worked a lot in this particular medium before. I've done films and I've done television, stuff like that, but I thought, well, this is something I haven't done, and I'm near 60 now. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, you're 60.
I know, but back when I started. Thanks for bringing it up.
You look great for 59.
Thank you. But I would say if you have a project, start it and do it, and then if it takes off anywhere, I mean, I know of big major films that started off being filmed on a small scale, and then the studio saw it and they took it and then they refilmed it and stuff. So so things can happen as long as your product itself, the writing and the acting and the sound and the lighting and everything, as long as you make it the best it can possibly be with the budget that you have, it can be a good thing. And then then you learn from that and your next one is better, and then you learn from that and your next one is better.
And I want to jump on that and say, because I'm hearing what we're saying.
Right.
And years ago I would have hated this advice, and the reason I would have hated it because you're saying, like, look, there's nothing tangible that you're giving me that I can go out and go, look, ask these people and put this together, and if I can just do those things, then I'll be fine. And I hate to say it, but I don't have that answer, which I wish I had. And I can't express enough how many years I would go when I wasn't working. I did construction in New York for events, and I was acting and producing and just trying to survive. And how many times when I had a day off, I would go to a coffee shop. I read more books on business than I read in college. I went to theater school, but I read plays and plays and plays, and I read more books about how to start a business than I ever have in the past. And the ad agency that we're working with, the CEO I met with through, again, a connection from a connection from a connection.
Right.
And every time I talk to him now, he expresses how impressed he is that, I mean, I first met with him 3 or 4 years ago, and he goes, look, you haven't stopped. And how many people go, I didn't get this thing that I wanted, so I don't know how to do this. It's not, your first step of success is not going, I've raised the money. Because that's what we always think. We go, look, if I just had the money, I could do this.
Right.
And it's not the case. And no matter what, if you have a budget of $5 or $5,000 or $5 million, your life is going to get worse when you start trying to produce things. You're going to, if you love it and you have a good time, it's key, because your life is going to get worse and it's going to get hard.
Yeah, and
so
I don't know if you guys have this, but I have this very strange thing where I have to make stuff. So every year I feel like I have to make a short film. I have to do a podcast. I have to make a children's book. There's something inside of me where I cannot not make things and just observe. I have to constantly be creating. And it's something I can't control. It's just there. Yeah.
Well, when this pandemic started, it really threw us for a loop because we couldn't bring people in. I had to set up all of these ways to literally do the mixing remotely, crazy. And in that vein of like, look, we're making these things, but we weren't feeling as creative as we wanted to. So we literally started doing a game show on Friday nights.
Yeah, we do a game show.
We do a game show on Friday Night Live.
Is the answer that you wrote on your card the same as the answer that I wrote on my card?
And you can find it at Compost Productions, the home of the voiceover doctor, on Facebook page.
7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
But the reason we started that was because we needed a break from the seriousness of the world and the seriousness of all of these things we were putting together. This is a game show that we put together. We're very proud of it. It's very fun. But if it goes horribly wrong, which it does often.
Because it's live.
And technology is what it is. It's fine. And we have a great time doing it. And it is a release for us once a week. We spend, 4 or 5 hours putting it together. 6, 7 maybe.
I mean, we started doing it basically for family and friends, and now we have like 700 to 800 people that view this.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Sounds fun.
Yeah, but it is because we need to create and we need to have fun.
We'll have you on. We'll have you on as a contestant.
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been great, guys. You guys are so interesting. This audio series is so cool. I'm gonna listen to it. Can you tell everybody where they can find it?
Yes. So say follow us on all the social media platforms at Carcerem the Series on Facebook and Instagram, Carcerem S on Twitter. Carceremtheseries.com is our website, and you can find us there. But you will be able to find Carcerem on iTunes, on Stitch, or Spotify, all of those places. But for the most updated information, the website, carceremtheseries.com, or please follow us on Facebook and Instagram and share with your friends. The more people that we have following us and seeing this, the more we can put into the project and the more episodes we can create and do up to 4, 5, 6 seasons or whatever.
It's up to you kids. It's up to you kids out there. Help us. Help us.
If we fail, it's your fault.
It's all your fault. Well, guys.
Our only hope.
This has been great. Like I said, I'm going to make this into an audio podcast in a couple of months. Yeah. So I'll let you know when that happens.
Else wants to talk to us or interview us or anything, feel free to reach out. We love talking.
Yeah, definitely reach out and talk to these guys because they're fun. And this is going to be on a bunch of social media. And if you guys share it, that would be great.
Absolutely.
And then it's also going to be on that Geek Vibes Nation. If you go to their page and under entertainment podcasts, there's an Apple for the audio and there's a YouTube for the video. So everybody check it out. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. It's been a blast.
Okay, thanks. Have a good one.
We got to go back to editing.
All right, back to work. Back to work, Shane. Bye-bye.